But aside from that, that's not basically what I even wanted even to just even talk about that. But I just even wanted to talk about the wilderness and how this has been a conversation that not many have gone on ahead and have approached it, because I feel no one wants to talk about it. Because, I mean, who wants to talk about being inconvenienced, right? We all want convenience. It's like, what's the need of me going? What's the need of me walking while I can go on ahead and have, like, take a bus to where I'm supposed to? But I've realized that sometimes the wilderness is more or less like this. We need to walk in order to kind of sort of go on ahead and appreciate the invention of the wheel or the invention of the car. That's what the wilderness is. And here's where the conversation is just going to. I feel for the longest time, as a result of this topic not being kind of sort of addressed or no one going on ahead and just talking about it, we people who are actually in the wilderness have just gone on ahead and have just even felt like maybe it's you know maybe it's Satan who has gone on ahead and was just gone on ahead and placed me in this particular situation. And this takes me to last week. And so there's this one particular time, this week, that actually, let me not even share about, like, just basically last week. Let me just even go on ahead and let me just share about it. Anyways, so last week I was just there, nini nini. Um, I've really had a solid relationship with the Lord, and I've gone on ahead and I've realized that there's nothing that can actually go on ahead and kind of sort of limit God from just going on ahead and giving you some stuff. But sometimes I've realized that He intentionally withholds. And last week was the week that He decided to withhold on me. So here's the story. So I wake up, I'm supposed to go to church because I was supposed to just go on ahead and just do a bit of edits here and there. And I remember that particular morning, I kind of sort of didn't have, like, cash and all, like for fare and all, to just go to church and all that. And I remember as I just woke up, I was like, okay, Lord, why are you doing this? Like, because I know it's not hard for you to just go on ahead and just do what. It's not hard for you to just even go on ahead and just, you know, sort me out. Like, but why are you actually doing this? Then he was just silent. Then I remember I just woke up and I was like, okay, no worries, let me just go on ahead, prepare nini nini. Then I chucked. Then I remember I just went on ahead and I was just chucked. And as I was just walking, I was just basically so from my place to church, it's not like that it's that far, but it's like a distance. And I remember that particular time I was like asking the Lord, like, why are you doing this to me? Like, for what exact reason are you, like, I can't get, like, why you're actually going on ahead and doing this. But it didn't hit me that he, during that particular situation, he was trying to expose something that was in me. And I know this in the charismatic church will be like, why are you exalting suffering? Why you exalting sijui what and what? But I've realized that it was God who had placed me in that particular situation. It wasn't the devil. It wasn't like any other external force, to be honest. It was actually the Lord who had gone on ahead and just placed me in that particular situation. And so I was like really designing, oh shucks, like, what in the world? What am I now supposed to do at this particular moment? But something was happening within me. I remember as I was just even walking through and all that thing, one thing that really stood out to me was I still had the love of money in me. And I remember there's this prayer we usually like saying that, oh God, if you bless me with this 1 million, I'm just gonna go on ahead and give it back to you. Sijui what. Yeah, it's easy for you to fake it when you're not actually in the wilderness. But actually, when they're in the wilderness, that's the time that actually the real stuff gets to really come out. The monsters, the wild things, they just go on ahead and just begin to just basically come out. Sorry about that. So where was I? Yeah. So as I was even walking, it just went on ahead and it hit me that, oh shucks, Linford, kumbe you actually do have the love of money in you. I thought actually I had dealt with it, and I was like, I thought like this was something of the future per se, but it was still there. And it was at that moment that I came to that realization. And I remember even as I was still walking and all that, something else was also actually going on ahead, and it was creeping up and all that. And I remember this thing that was actually creeping up was how much I cared about my image. Sijui ina make sense. Like the Lord will never actually confront you when things are actually okay, because it's easy for you to fake. It's when you're actually in the wilderness that you actually get to face who you truly are. Like it's the place whereby all the junk, all the trash come out. And it's at that particular moment that you now begin to face on who you actually are. So as I was just there, something else was just even at the back of my mind. And that which was the back of my mind was how much I cared about my image. And I remember even as I was walking that route, there's usually a route that is usually mwase, people from maybe from church on Pitanga sana. So as I was just going on ahead, just walking there, I was just cautious of who is gonna pass by. Cause this season that the Lord went on ahead and He led me to, one time I'm going to go on ahead and just give you a story and a background of what exactly happened and how it's like one of those just crazy faiths that the Lord just went on ahead and He just directed me that He wants me to rest at His feet. And so as I was walking there, what was just going through my mind was the aspect of, oh, someone from church atakuja apite hapa nione, then they will be like, oh, and is it still the same person who has just gone ahead and chosen this direction of like faith? They'll just be the same people that they'll be like, oh, if you truly have God, then such sufferings cannot occur in your life. But I've realized, even through the Gospels, some of the challenges that Paul went through. I remember there's this one time alikuwa in Lystria. And as he was in Lystria, the city of Lystria, he went on ahead and was like basically preaching and all that. And I remember what exactly happened next. They took him from that place. Let me just check. I don't know if it's in Acts. Yeah, it's here actually. Preaches in Lystria. So, it was like they went on ahead, they preached to Lystria. Then they kind of sort of did a miraculous thing. Then the people were like, they wanted to worship him. Then Paul, this is chapter 14, Acts chapter 14. Then they just went on ahead to kind of sort of do what? They went on ahead to kind of sort of, let me just check my charger. I don't know why it's blinking. Just a minute. Okay, it's good, guys. It's good. So they had just gone on ahead and they were kind of sort of did a miraculous thing. Then the people wanted to make them their gods. They said that the gods have descended in human bodies and all that. Then the Jews, they came in from Antioch and Iconium. They won the crowd on their side. So they went on ahead, they took Paul outside, then they threw stones at Paul. They thought he was dead, so they dragged him out of the city. And it just hit me, guys. that was the true Christianity. I'm not saying prosperity is a bad thing, but just going on ahead and even reading how Akina Paul lived their lives daily, on how they committed themselves to the work of Christ, and it wasn't as easy for them to just go on ahead. Just go on ahead and just even imagine him being thrown out of the city, then the people just going on ahead and just coming with stones to kind of sort of stone him. They dragged him, actually. They stoned him and they thought he was dead, so they went on ahead and even dragged him. But that's aside from it. So I'm just there walking, and I'm just even coming to slowly realize on how I care too much about my image. And I've realized that I had to go through that to come to the realization that I still cherished me, I still idolized me. And I can tell you for a fact, there's no way, there's no how that two images can go together. One has to go down and one has to bow. And it just hit me that the reason as to why even my spirit went on ahead and said that that which I'm willing to give up is my image. But anyways, here's the thing. Here's just the basicity of everything. I feel we are living in a time whereby we have gone on ahead and we have idolized things. We have gone on ahead and we have focused on to the things that Christ talks of, that seek ye the kingdom of God first, then all these other things shall be added unto you. We have gone on ahead and quantified Christ only as being a Christ of substances and things and all that. Nothing to dispute about that. But I've also gone on ahead and I've come to the realization that what if, just imagine this, what if one day just Christ goes on ahead and tells you that maybe you want something and he tells you that he doesn't have it? Will you still love him? Or will you go on ahead and just leave him? And that came to me strongly. And I came to the realization that I had actually focused onto the wrong things. I'd focused on things that gratify my image and not his image. I'd focused onto things that conformed me more to my image than to his image. And it just hit me that something different needs to pop out. If we truly are going to call ourselves as people who love God or people who want God, then it needs then to be seen on how we act and how we relate even to people and all that. So basically today was just to talk about that. Just talk about the wilderness. It's a topic that no one, it's actually a rare topic that no one actually wants to go on ahead and just talk about. And it was actually in the wilderness that, one interesting thing that hit me, and I came to that realization was the fact that had God gone on ahead and to kind of sort of take the Israelites from Egypt directly to Canaan or directly to the promised land, they wouldn't have last for a week. They would have gone. And even, had they even survived, per se, they would have just gone on ahead and interpreted it as God. And the reason as to why I'm saying that was The reason as to why he took them first to the mountain is so that he wanted them to come to the realization that he is their anchor and nothing else needs to be their anchor. So that if they go on ahead even to Canaan, if God goes on ahead and gives them a word again, I want you to go on ahead and leave this particular place, it wouldn't have been a hassle for them, because you know why? They will had it in them that, you know what, I am anchored onto him. He is my sustainer. It's not the things that are around him that are not the things that are around them that are actually their sustainer. So it's a topic that has actually gone on ahead and been avoided, and it's something that really needs to be spoken about, basically, because there are people out here, maybe you're in the wilderness and you're like, oh shucks, is it, you know, this is Satan. But no, it's the Holy Spirit who is actually going on ahead, and he's actually going on ahead to do that per se. So I want you to know that Jesus was led to the wilderness. And it's actually in the wilderness that you actually go on ahead and even actually go on ahead to kind of sort of get prepared. It's the place whereby God prepares you for that which he's calling you for. Because if he does not do that, you'll end up messing up ahead. So this example, this instance, Satan had gone on ahead. He had approached Jesus in the wilderness, and he was like, if you bow down and worship me, I'm going to go on ahead and give you all this. At the heightened state as he was in the wilderness, at his weakest as he was in the wilderness, he was like, no. So the same Jesus, we go on ahead and see him through the scriptures, whereby they wanted to go on ahead and even make him king. So they made a crown and they immediately wanted to make him king, but he slipped away. The reason as to why it was so easy for Jesus to slip away was majorly due to the fact that God had already prepared him while he was in the wilderness. So oftentimes we always don't like discomfort, but it is in our discomfort that God prepares us. It's in our discomfort that we get comfort. Is it making sense? It is in the discomfort, it was in Jesus' discomfort as he was in the wilderness that it actually prepared him for comfort, for that which was ahead of him. So what am I trying to say? I'm just trying to speak out to someone out there who's in the wilderness, who you're like, oh shucks, God has just gone on ahead and just placed me in the deep end. He has placed me whereby you just don't know where you're headed to. Because that's also something that happens in the wilderness. You actually don't have a clue of where you're headed to. Let's also talk about that. It's not like you know what's next. As you are reading, as you are reading the scriptures, as you are reading from a third perspective, you actually know what God has gone on ahead and prepared for the children of Israel ahead. But being in their shoes, they had no clue of where they were headed to. They had no clue of how it's going to be. They were just basically depending on the Lord Jesus Christ day by day. And I can tell you for a fact, it's a pain in there. It's a pain. It's a pain in the ass, to be honest. Cause one thing I can tell you for a fact, it's not easy, but I know it's worth it. So it's actually in the wilderness that you're actually like a designer. You actually don't know where you're headed to. You don't know how things are just gonna be. You don't know how things are going to add up. You are just revealed things just based off of the day in which you are at. So you just, if this is Friday, you just know what you're supposed to do on Friday. You don't know how your future is gonna be. So what am I trying to just tell someone out there who's in the wilderness? Just be patient. It's hard, but it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be worth your time. He never wastes our time. I remember I had this particular revelation, and so I was in that revelation. I was like, talking to my friend, and I was just basically telling him, the Lord is faithful. Like, even if it goes on ahead and takes 8 months, He's still gonna come through. Like, that's the Lord. So if you're just in that wilderness and you're like, you just don't know how, you're just facing some troubles. You just people around you are just going on ahead and they're just having the best times of their lives, and you're like, oh my God, so am I a weirdo? Am I not doing something right, or am I doing something right? Am I doing something right, but maybe I'm doing it in a half sort of way? I want you to tell you that I want you to just be patient with you. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to self. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but what I'm saying is it's worth it. It's gonna be worth it at the end of the day. So I'm just here to just talk about that. I just felt like just talking about the wilderness and even sharing a bit of my story of how the wilderness was, and how that transitioned into my basic life, and how the Lord is actually using that same wilderness to confront some of the things that were in me. Had had I not been in this particular wilderness, I would have just gone on ahead and thought that I was good, but deep down I was not. So it's actually in this particular time that I'm actually confronting some of the things that I thought I had dealt with, that I'm just coming to the realization that, oh shucks, I didn't completely deal with them per se. Not actually deal with them. It's the things that I never took to God to kind of sort of deal deal with. So this is just a message of encouragement to someone out there who feels like giving up, who feels like you're just at the end of it. You don't know. You feel like no one is giving you answers. You feel like no one understands you. That's the other thing about the wilderness. No one actually will understand you. Let's even talk about my own parents. They actually don't sometimes even understand me. So it's a solo journey, but it's a solo journey that you're not just alone, you're with Him. And that's what that matters. Because there's usually this scripture that says that whoever, um, if the Lord is with you, who can be against you? So just hang in there, hang in tight, and stuff's gonna clear up. Things are just gonna work out. What you just need to do is just to hang in there, hang in by Him. And hanging in by Him is just basically just go on ahead, spend time with Him, take your time with Him, worship Him. Don't be afraid to speak your mind to Him. Don't be like, oh God, I love you, I do this, and deep down you're like, God, I don't understand you. God, I feel that this thing is just becoming more and more heavy. This thing is becoming more and more hectic. Go on ahead, talk to Him, share. Actually, one thing I can tell you for a fact, it's in this particular wilderness that has kind of sort of made my relationship with Christ become so beautiful, become so fruitful, to the level whereby I usually just have endless conversation with Him. It's like if I'm bored, that I remember even that time as I was just even walking and I'm just going on ahead, I was just like, God, I don't like this. I hate it. It's messed up. I am feeling so bad. Like, why should I just go on ahead and do this? And I remember it was at that particular moment. I remember that day I went on ahead and just got into covenant time, and He just overwhelmed me with so much peace. And He overwhelmed me with so much comfort, and He assured me that He's with me, that it's for the good, it's for the greater good, that He's just doing all this. So yeah, that's uh that's right about it, man. That's right about it. So hang in there. I don't know who exactly I'm talking to, but hang in there. Things are just gonna clear up. Just be patient with you, be kind to yourself, and just know It's worth it. You're going to go on ahead and have the last laugh. Yep. So yeah, that's what's up. Thank you guys for watching the Reset podcast. Just a disclaimer, Donnell got injured. His leg was kind of sort of injured and all that. So he's in the hospital. We actually to go on ahead and just do like this episode with him, but he kind of sort of got injured and all that. But it's all good. I think he's good. He's doing well. So yeah, that's basically it. So for those who are joining us, I'll just like to welcome you guys to the Reset podcast, the Reset family. It's a place whereby we kind of sort of like do a reset of how things how basically things intended, how things were basically intended to be, vile vitu zilikuwa zinafaa kuwa in the first place. So that's what the Reset podcast is all about. So kindly share, subscribe, comment. Give me your views, guys. Are you in your wilderness? What part of your wilderness? Like, what are some of the life lessons are you getting off of your wilderness? So it's just basically, this is not like just wholesome inaongelelea just basically about every single thing. It's just basically here to just stir up a conversation. So go on ahead, share your story, share your own personal lessons that you learned from the wilderness. Let's talk about that. Let's also talk about how we don't want to talk about the wilderness, on how we actually want to avoid the wilderness. So yeah, so basically that's what's up, guys. But hope generally you had an amazing time. I did. So yeah, see you on the next episode, guys. Yeah.